do some bush clearing, removing the bad bushes and remaining with the grass which they think is good, but not all of it is good. For instance, if you see, even in my own land here, your own land here, this one of your state house, we are also at the same level like the other peasants. We have not moved beyond the free range. But if you see the grass as you go out, you will see this good grass. This one grass here is good. This is bracharia. It's good for animal nutrition, this one here. But if you watch carefully, you will see other grasses. There is a grass called agache. Agache. Do we have some scientists here? Some agriculture? What is the scientific name for agache? Something borosporus or something like that. It has got a name. Do we have any scientists here? Don't bring permanent secretary. Those are not scientists. Those are some. So that agache is a very poor grass. It is really no grass. But you see it still here. So it is occupying space, but no value. So even here, you need to tell Jane Bariche when she comes that I need now intensive farming here. No longer this, I don't want to be like the neighbors there. These 4 square miles should, because who is the manager here of the cows? Is he around? Manager went to Zaha, Arahi. Huh? Okay, you go on the microphone, that microphone. How many cows do you have here?
1,192.
Now you hear, the man is talking of 1,100 in 4 square miles. And yet, according to our Chivaro, you have been.
Your Excellency,
where do the cows go? Why?
Government.
State House?
Yes.
They sell them. But also my beef comes from here.
Yes, sir.
The beef of State House. Do they pay you?
No.
Oh, they just take beef for nothing. You hear?
I have ever suggested it to Mzee, but they didn't put it into two.
No, they should be paying. They should be paying.
They didn't put it into consideration.
Oh, okay. So you can hear, you go and sit.
They are towards the river Kafsa.
Here?
Yes, sir.
We can walk through here? Oh, okay. Okay, now you hear, go and sit, that in the 4 square miles, there is a land which I gave to you, man. There is the land I gave to Dr. Kawa.
You gave her 300 acres, sir.
You remember Dr. Kawa, our scientist of the antique? Okay, thank you. Our scientist of the antique vaccine, I gave her 300 acres to use for her experiment. But that should not be. So you heard when we were there, if we shift from free range, which is what we are doing here, and what those farmers are doing, to intensive, a square mile will no longer carry 300, it will carry 4,800 Frisians or 6,000 indigenous cows. So the carrying capacity will totally change, and the economics will change. So therefore, my wonderful people, the permanent secretaries, the unpermanent ones, all because they are permanent and the unpermanent. They are permanent and seasonal. The politicians are seasonal. The politicians are permanent and something else. But your people are stagnant. Either outside the door of modern economy, or like I always want to quarrel with the MPs from the cattle area, like some of the MPs who are there, like Meru Mujenyi, like Karhanga. Do you remember Karhanga, what is his name? Karhanga. They don't add on. They just, where I left, the situation is where it is now, all this time. Iwe Nyongore. Iwe Mwonjera Hochi. Come and defend yourself, Nyongore. What did you add on? How can you only keep what I left? Because if they were following what I tell them, the area would be very far. What are you going to add in Nyongore other than being MP? Improving your CV.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. As you said, we first mobilized to change their breeds, but now we have gone into this kind of cultivating or growing grass, slowly by slowly. We have not gone into rigorous change that please, you must confine the house.
So in my, the eight tractors, my team, the eight tractors I'm going to give these people, I must add a bulldozer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Because in this bush, if you don't have a bulldozer to uproot the trees, the tractor can't do much.
Yes.
The tractor can even be damaged. You need to do bush tree clearing first, then the tractor will have where to pass. So I need to either lend them. We can lend. You don't have to have it. Katumba can lend us a bulldozer for some time. Attach it here. Don't you have some bulldozers, Katumba? Even agriculture has.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you. So really, that's why I wanted you to be here, so that we all speak one language. Homestead income, homestead income, homestead income with a chivaro. The rest will be easy. Katumba, what do we do about these people's road? What do we do? What ideas do you have? The one from Tarangwa, this one here, where we came up to across Masinde there. What do we do? You go on the microphone.
I have something itching I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Your Excellency, this one we shall put it under maintenance because it's in terms of tarmacking, we have not yet reached there. Let's finish the Luwero of Talangu, but this one we shall put it under full maintenance as first class maram. For
but
now.
You heard what they say it is a liberation. We shall have to, I will see how I can get money from.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We were requesting that even it should be considered under oil roads so that it can be tarmacked. Your Excellency, I wrote
but
you.
there's no oil here. That will be like a...
But it crosses up to Pakwai if we
No,
get this road.
that one is... that is political elasticity. Where you stretch the logic.
Your Excellency, I wrote to you regarding on how we can regulate beef. I have gone to Botswana, I have gone to South Africa. These people have less numbers, but they are exporting. But why are we not exporting? beef, it is because it is not regulated. We have not completely or effectively combated disease.
Now, you Nyong'o, are you a Christian?
I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian. You know, some of these Christians, they are just... Me, I'm a Christian part-time, but I remember everything. Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's cow, your neighbor's wife, your neighbor's something else. Otarieti ngekintu kya mutahi wawe. Now, those people you are coveting, the South Africans and the Botswanans, these are people, those are not indigenous people. Those who are doing farming are mainly Europeans. So they maintain those high standards because they are not, they are business people. Business people. Here, we have got a more difficult job, but a good one. Because the people we are struggling with are our own people. Traditional, who are slowly coming into modernity. So, they are efficient, but the Africans are out. They are out. And those whom you admire that are efficient are really European farmers. And I don't want to envy that. I don't want to covet the success of a problem. Here, the biggest problem against exporting has been the diseases brought by your people, by our traditional people. They go to Tanzania, they smuggle cows, then the cows bring foot and mouth disease because they are not sensitized. When I sold Ramaphosa 43 cows, he couldn't take them to South Africa. Although they were checked, they had no disease, he took them to Kenya. Up to now, the cows I gave him are running wild like wild animals. So he took them to Kenya, then got embryos from the cows in Kenya. He took the embryos. These cows you see Ramaphosa advertising were the embryos he took from Kenya, from my cows, the ones I gave him. These are the ones he took to South Africa. The original cows are there, they are running like buffaloes now, in Kenya now, wild animals. So how are you going to get these Ngoma people to do all that, embryos, what? But okay, we are moving them at our own speed. Now what we have done, the biggest intervention which is easy, is mass vaccination for FMD 2 times a year. And these wonderful people have already got us the money in the budget. We are going to buy 88 million doses, 44. Me, I was thinking about cows. Then these people come and say, no, how about pigs? How about goats and so on? So all of them are 44 million, 2 times. So we are going to get there, but in our own way, with our own baggage. Okay, naturally, I hand the whole matter to you. Ebyange, I have concluded my... here ends the lesson.
Your Excellency Mzee, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. One team. One team. As we come to the conclusion of this remarkable retreat, I'm filled with a deep sense of gratitude and optimism. Over the past few days, we've been engaged in a meaningful discussions. We have shared valuable insights and crafted strategic plans that will guide our nation forward. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to you, Your Excellency Mzee, for your support, guidance, and presence at this retreat. This is invaluable, and we are inspired by your dedication to serving our great nation. To you, honorable members of Cabinet, permanent secretaries, your contributions have been instrumental in shaping the outcomes of this retreat. Your expertise, experience, and commitment to public service are the bedrock of our government's success. The collaborative spirit you have demonstrated here is a testament to the strength of our administration. I also wish to acknowledge the National Resistance Movement Party executives for your continuous support and the dedication to our shared goals. Your participation at this retreat has underscored the importance of unity and coherence in our efforts. I wish to thank the ESAMI staff. Although they are not here, they were our facilitators who imparted knowledge to us during the first 2 days of the retreat. I would also want to appreciate the Director Nali and his team and all the other service providers for a job well done. I would also like to thank all the participants who have chaired or co-chaired the sessions and those who have presented papers. And I want to thank all those who participated in the morning drills. I know it wasn't easy because we are not used to waking up that early, but thank you those who participated. My team at the Cabinet Secretariat, led by Madame Deborah Katuram, you are all very great, and I would like you to stand up for recognition. Thank you very much. I know I put you under a lot of stress, and at one time, actually, Madame Deborah asked me whether they will be able to meet my expectations. But thank you, I've met them. Dear participants, during our time together, we have addressed critical issues, identified challenges, and proposed solutions that will have a lasting impact on our country's future. Our discussions have been frank and constructive, reflecting our collective commitment to transparency, accountability, and progress. And as we move forward, let us remember that the success of our plans hinges on our ability to work together with unwavering resolve. The proposals we have set forth requires dedication, resilience, and a shared sense of purpose. We must continue to foster a culture of collaboration and excellency in all that we do. I am confident that the outcomes of this retreat will translate into tangible benefits for all Ugandans. Let us carry the momentum we have built here back to our respective offices, inspired and ready to implement the strategies we have developed. I want to thank you all for your active participation, your commitment to public service and prosperity of Uganda. Together we will achieve great things for our nation. May God bless Uganda and guide us in our endeavors. And I now call upon participant Chiryo Wachiwanuka to read our resolutions and summary of what transpired for the whole week. I thank you very, very much. I know a week has been like a month, but we have finally come to the end. We want more.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency and Your Excellency the President and all the participants, we have tried to record the summary of what transpired this week under the different heads. And as a preamble, we are saying that we, the public service leaders comprising of members of Cabinet, permanent secretaries, Central Executive Committee members of the National Resistance Party, at the National Leadership Institute, NALI, Chankwanzi from 7th to 14th July 2024, under the leadership and direction of H.E. the President of the Republic of Uganda, do appreciate the keynote address and guidance of His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Chairman of the National Resistance Movement, which centered on the fight against corruption, reflective of the mass approach to embracing the money economy, with emphasis on value addition, commercial agriculture, manufacturing and industry, services and ICT, and his call for all the public service leaders to be change agents and lead the work to socio-economic transformation through wealth creation by household. Committed to fulfilling the ideological aspirations of the national resistance movement and the country's agenda of socio-economic transformation, do hereby resolve under the sub-themes as follows. 1. Leadership. In line with the government's commitment to effective leadership to steer Uganda's socio-economic transformation agenda, it was resolved to 1. Work as one team, one dream. The three arms of government should always closely coordinate and work in harmony. Adopt and keep up to date with technology to enhance efficiency in service delivery. Create clear strategic goals that are citizen-centric and redirect all our efforts to achieve them. Institutionalize mentorship in government institutions. Enforce standards to ensure compliance and conduct regular induction programs before assumption of duty and refresher training courses for ministers and permanent secretaries to enhance leadership capacity. Mindset change, underscoring the relevance of civic competence in the development of a country, it was resolved to A. Develop and promote a set of national values to drive socio-economic transformation of our country. Strengthen the succession planning regime through promotion of intergenerational mentoring in all institutions of government. Adopt an education system that instills a strong sense of patriotism at all levels and incorporate indigenous culture and traditional knowledge. Develop and implement a complementary communication strategy to effectively brand Uganda and make Uganda a preferred investment destination. 3. Relationship of ministers to ministers, ministers to permanent secretaries. Reaffirming the strong desire and commitment of the national resistance movement in upholding its ideology, ministers and permanent secretaries should have a clear understanding of the key tenets of the ideology: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation. Your Excellency, we are going to change it. It's going to start now with socio-economic transformation, then have the other. This should always guide the policy formulation and implementation. Whereas the roles and responsibilities of some ministers have not been clearly delineated, it was resolved as follows. The cabinet minister is the political head of a ministry with overall supervision of the ministry, while the ministers of state have specified roles and functions that they take lead and should always work together as a team. Clear job roles and schedules of duties will be issued in consultation with H.E. the President. Make deliberate effort to strengthen the strategic vision of both ministers and permanent secretaries. Accelerate the use of technology to guide digital transformation and e-government. Enhance collaboration in building partnership and facilitate interministerial coordination. Demonstrate commitment to public service delivery, be citizen-centric, ethical and accountable. Institutionalize meetings where they have been held in ad hoc manner and designate particular days for meeting among ministers in each ministry to facilitate information sharing, openness and transparency. 4. Whole of government approach. Acknowledging the significance of the whole of government approach, it was resolved that government should in addition embrace the whole of nation approach, considering the changing demographics, technological advancement, multiplicity of client needs, complexity and interrelatedness of the challenges posed by a cross-generational way of doing business. Reorient the leaders to abandon the traditional leadership methods and embrace contemporary ways of doing business. Automate business processes, embrace and prioritize funding in artificial intelligence as an enabler, develop an artificial intelligence policy which with a detailed implementation roadmap, develop a risk management strategy, and invest in building capacity of the users. Performance management. Underscoring the contribution of a robust performance management system in improving the development outcomes of our country, it was resolved to select a performance management system that resonates with the development needs of Uganda. Demonstrate political will. Government should make deliberate effort to invest in managing performance of public officers. Strengthen the reward and sanction regime. Harmonize pay in public service and invest in strengthening systems and institutions that are responsive to service delivery. Strengthen planning for better service delivery, taking into account the ruling party's position, among others. Right-size funding demand through improved prioritization and reflects the true development needs of Uganda and do away with undefined, unfunded priorities. Key performance indicators should be responsive to the key development outcomes to improve reporting on results. Enhance the role of the Office of the Prime Minister in coordination, monitoring, and evaluation of government performance. Harmonize terms and conditions of all persons working for government institutions, for the government of Uganda, that is ministries, departments, and agencies, in terms of the retirement age for public universities, government and donor-funded project staff, and provide for the latter to be recruited by the appropriate appointing authority, just like other persons working in the public service. Progressively increase wage allocation to address the critical manpower needs in local government. Maximize the potential of existing staff through optimal utilization. Reimagining the taxation and narrowing of the fiscal gap. Noting the significance of taxation as a source of government resources and the need for a balance between revenues and expenditure of government, it was resolved that there is need to develop a strategy for implementation of vertical and horizontal integration business model for the economy. Promote value addition to increase competitiveness of Ugandan products on the local and international market in order to increase revenue. For example, value intervention in the dairy industry is a clear manifestation that this strategic information can transform Uganda from subsistence to predominantly market economy. Simplify tax filing to motivate citizens to pay taxes voluntarily. Information on success stories on implementation of government projects and intervention should be widely disseminated to account for utilization of taxes to the public. Lower the cost of public expenditure. For example, redirect health service interventions from preventive health, from curative health care service to preventive health care service. Fast track rationalization of government agencies to reduce public expenditure, leverage on ICT to automate government systems and processes, and embrace artificial intelligence. Cabinet performance. Cognizant of the role of cabinet in determining and formulating and implementing the policy of government as provided for under the Constitution, the effectiveness and efficiency in conducting cabinet business is of paramount importance and was therefore resolved as follows. Cabinet may have cabinet rules in the conduct of cabinet business. Establishment of cabinet subcommittees should be considered by cabinet. Members should adhere to the official oath and the oath of secrecy. Technical officers accompanying ministers to cabinet should be at the minimum level of commissioner. Create a working room for technical persons who come to cabinet to support cabinet ministers. Cabinet files should be received before Friday. Cabinet Secretary should not facilitate the movement of cheats between members of Cabinet and should embrace the use of technology to facilitate Cabinet business. Meetings between the President and the Minister will be organized at least once a year for each ministry. Growing land eviction and grabbing. Cognizant of the dangers posed by land evictions and the threat of eviction that range from damaged property, loss of life, and aware that the 1995 Constitution vests land in citizens of Uganda, it was therefore resolved as follows. Enact a comprehensive law on land evictions. Amend the Land Act or issue regulations to provide for an option for tenant chibanja holders to pay nominal rent usuru fixed by the local government and approved by the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to the sub-county and obtain a receipt in the event that the landlord does not accept it. Enhance the capitalization of the land fund. Conduct locus visits by registrars of titles before the issuance, transfer, or registration of land titles. Scale up issuance of land titles and certificates of occupancy over land to guarantee Ugandan security of ownership and facilitate long-term investment. Facilitate effective management of land, including plugging opportunities for corruption. Fully implement the land information management system to guard against double titling and land fraud. Reorganize the land office and transfer land registrars regularly. Officers who issued land titles fraudulently should be held personally liable and sanctioned. Officers who issue land titles fraudulently should be held personally liable and should be dismissed summarily. Corruption, growing indiscipline and impunity in the public service. Noting the rampant occurrence of corruption and the need to decisively crush the resurgence, it was resolved that government ensures the provision of mass services to cater for the basic needs so as to reduce the cost of living of Ugandans, that is, education for all, health for all, prosperity for all, immunization for all, among others. Scale up automation of government processes and strengthen the internal controls, e-government, which reduces public officers' discretionary powers and ensure tracking of electronic government, ensures tracking. Electronic government procurement, education management systems, PDM models developed locally, among others. Strengthen the agencies responsible for fighting corruption and to do their work effectively and efficiently through the increased funding of their intervention. Introduce the practice of name and shame of the corrupt and expeditiously prosecute them. Ensure independence and accountability and transparency in law enforcement. Prime Minister should share His Excellency the President's guidance on the conflicting role of the anti-corruption agencies. Action taken by officers, instructions must be given in whether amend the Anti-Corruption Act and other relevant laws to deter persons convicted of corruption offences from being appointed or reappointed in public service, other than deterring from holding public service for 10 years. This will make corruption a very risky venture. Enhance supervision and inspection. Pay court awards directly to the beneficiaries and not through law firms that have made it a habit to defraud government and beneficiaries. Review the law to provide for recruitment of the district service. Review the law on the recruitment of the district service members. Of commercialization of elections, fundraising, early campaigns, and the law should be amended to strengthen this. Ensure that all accounting officers do a due diligence on all procurements and hold technical departments accountable. Reduce the size and pay of members of parliament and cabinet ministers. Leaders should walk the talk and live by the values and standards set in the fight against corruption, and those who fail to discharge their duties should be held accountable. Accounting officers should specifically take lead in the fight against corruption and ensure that this vice is stopped. Fast-track the lifestyle audits to ascertain one's lifestyle is commensurate to one's income. Improve public financial management and effective budget tracking. Strengthen supervision and monitoring by accounting officers at all stages of planning, budgeting, budget execution, and service delivery. Review and amend the Local Government Act to address the identified gaps and improve oversight. Implement a robust feedback mechanism. Teaming up with the executive to enhance service delivery. Reiterating the need for Parliament and the executive to work together, it was resolved that when launching government projects, always invite members of Parliament to be present. Technical officers should not go to Parliament without their ministers, except where they are appearing before the Public Accounts Committee. Accounting officers should not facilitate members of Parliament in any way. No committee clerk should write to any accounting officer without clearance of the Clerk of Parliament. Ministers and members of Parliament should work as a team. Ministers should attend Parliament, especially when bills are being passed. No changes by Parliament on the budget will be made without consultation and approval by HE, the President. Strategic relationship between the NRM party and the government. There is need to appreciate the strategic relationship between the party and the government in ensuring effective service delivery through the implementation of a party manifesto in that respect. Acknowledge that the country is operating under multi-party political dispensation and that, as such, the party in government must be given rightful strategic space in government in terms of information sharing, protocol, involvement in monitoring of service delivery. Proposed amendment of Local Governments Act to the effect that endorsing leaders of the ruling party to the effect of endorsing leaders of the ruling party at all levels to be ex-officio members of the local government structure. For instance, the Right Honourable Secretary General sits in Cabinet and thus is privy to the decisions of the highest level of government. This should trickle down to the districts, sub-counties, up to the village level. Ruling parties should have a more proactive role in implementation of the party mandate, which today remains predominantly the function of government officials, some of whom are not cadres of the party. An urgent need to create a seamless mechanism through which government ministries, departments, and agencies must share information on the progress of the manifesto with the party. All government ministries, departments, and agencies should, as a matter of routine, share copies of their respective ministerial policy statements with the party. Similarly, government, through the Right Honourable Prime Minister, should interface with the party through the Central Executive Committee on an annual basis before government annual performance report is released to the public. The party and government must work in respect to the implementation of not only the party manifesto but government policies. There must be strategic synergy between the Directorate of Information Publicity and Public Relations at the party secretariat and the Uganda Media Center on the one side, and all communication specialists in the respective government departments and agencies to communicate effectively and powerfully and successfully the story of the NRM. Government development programs. Underscoring the importance of government development initiatives like Parish Development Model and Myoga, amongst others, that will transit Ugandans, especially 39% who are in subsistence economy, it was resolved that cabinet papers on the emerging issues in the implementation of the Parish Development Program and the Myoga should be submitted to Cabinet for consideration. Budget priorities for the financial year 2025-2026. Noting the priorities for 2025-2026 and the commencement of the NDP4, there has been achieved political and technical consensus on agro-industry, tourism, minerals, science and technology as the priorities for the financial year 2025-2026. The vision and goal of socio-economic transformation through increase of household income, it was resolved that MDAs should prepare work program implementation action plan for the following, with the following priorities in mind: value addition in agriculture and minerals, knowledge economy, with the following priorities in mind: value addition in agriculture and minerals, knowledge economy, science and technology intervention, continuation of interventions focusing on the productivity using PDM and Emyoga as vehicles, invest in high-speed and meter-gauge railway, maintenance of existing infrastructure and social services, reducing the cost of credit through UDB and UDC, revenue generation intervention, consolidation of investment and fundamentals, security, health and education, prioritizing the creative industry intervention, investing in Greater Kampala metropolitan area. We shall meet once in the first week of July 2025, where everyone will be expected to report on the progress and status in respect to this resolution. Done at National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, on 13th July 2024 at Goma State Lodge. I thank you, Your Excellency.
I think that is a good summary. The only point where I wanted to put a clarification is on the indigenous knowledge. Because the indigenous knowledge practices, we should add the words positive, because some of the traditional practices we are backward, we are wrong. So we should add the word positive. Indigenous knowledge practices should be encouraged. Like the Ankole cow is now going to really outcompete the Frisian because we have concentrated the genes. But some of the other practices like mistreating women, so don't say blanket indigenous practices because some of them are not good. So it's better to put positive to qualify it. I think now we are ending here. We sing the anthem, and then we walk. I will lead you. Walk down there, see the cows, and then you can get into your buses on the main road.